We're going to talk about mocktails. Adults are going booze-free now.
Yeah.
And is it a particular generation? Because we have our chief millennial correspondent, David Burbank, here. And I'd be interested.
I love that title. Thank you.
Have you gone alcohol-free, too?
No, not me personally. But I will say I've tried many of the...
As a producer of a radio show.
I know, right?
I've tried many of the sort of mocktails at different restaurants. Actually, my wife loves making cocktails. And so when we have friends over, a lot of our friends are now going without alcohol. But we still want to create the sort of drinking, fun, social experience.
The atmosphere.
Yeah, and so we'll substitute alcohol for either more bitters or some extra citrus, lemon juice, stuff like that, and still make the experience of the cocktail. And I love the taste of them. I really love a lot of non-alcoholic beers. Stella Artois has
Solely just so
you should have just about
beers that
passed
actually
out.
taste
I know,
pretty
right?
good.
Yeah.
And so
Sully,
it's
get
a
up.
growing trend with my generation who want to have that fun aspect of drinking. Don't want the hangover. Don't want the lasting effect.
Wait a second.
But it's all health?
I thought it was all about the alcohol. So the alcohol was what made you more interesting.
Well,
Maybe you, Dave. We're
maybe
interesting
it's the
all
sugar.
our own.
So here's what I found out. Mocktail sales are breaking records here in our area bars, restaurants, and in grocery stores, by the way. Part of it is because of Dry January, which has become the new popular trend. And Gen Z and millennials are really driving this trend home, especially on social media. There's even a day to celebrate, Mocktail Monday.
I mean, good for this generation, but isn't this
Right.
also the generation addicted to vaping?
I don't know. I'll have to go look
Take
at
out
that.
one
why.
vice, replace it with
look at it.
another.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Like,
marijuana.
we're all being
Yeah.
like,
And I don't mean
hey,
that in
good
the bad
job,
way,
kids.
But I can tell you guys just younger than David, my son's guys who are like 19, 20 to 22, 3-ish, all legal, of course. Now, they don't like the hangover either. They prefer marijuana
They call it Cali sober.
to the alcoholic drinks. So I have noticed a kind of a shift that way, but one vice for another. But yeah, I just don't understand non-alcoholic beer. I mean,
Well-
why take the calories for nothing? I mean, come on.
It tastes good.
Well,
Yeah,
listen,
whatever.
people just want to become social again, according to what we found on social media. And to keep the non-alcoholic drinkers feeling inclusive and trendy, some bars and restaurants added the unboozy cocktails, beers, and wine
I have noticed
to
that
their
more.
menus.
Yeah.
And so, bar owners say mocktail sales are up 20%. As a matter of fact, they make up 20% of their bar sales. Nielsen, which is one of the largest data research companies in the world, says non-alcoholic sales for the very first time ever have surpassed $500 million. Something.
It's a racket because they charge as much for the non-alcoholic
Yes.
drinks as
Right,
for
they
the
do.
alcoholic
Absolutely.
drinks.
And I was going to say something else driving the price of that $500 million mark is the fact that we're in the midst of inflation. So that's another thing. But people don't want to, what we found and what I found on social media is that people don't just want to go to the restaurant and say, oh, I'll have, the non-alcoholic version of that. And then they get, pineapple with a cherry drink, No, they want it to look. They want the aesthetic. They want the sugar around the rim. They want the lime. They want,
They can post the picture still to Instagram.
Right.
It still looks like a cocktail. That's a big thing.
and it's all about the experience,
About the picture.
I mean,
see.
I started when I was pregnant. I was drinking shrubs. You know what those are?
No.
They're like apple cider vinegar based flavored syrups that you add to the mocktail, and it's a digestive and also it tastes good as well. It's called a shrub.
well, I was just in Utah for hanging out with some friends, and the hotel that we were staying at had a sign and it said mocktails start at 6:00. And I really, I'll be honest, I didn't know what a mocktail was, which is what drove me to look this up. And my friends were like ho humming, like, oh man, call and see if they have alcohol. And I'm like, well, they do. They've got mocktails. But no, I went down there,
When in
had
Utah.
a mocktail, and some of the people didn't know that the mocktails didn't have alcohol, so they started acting a little buzzed. And then finally I said, hey guys, these are non-alcoholic. So I
That's
thought that was really
funny.
funny. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. If you can act buzzed without getting the hangover, that's the best of both
We should
worlds.
make some mocktails tomorrow or Friday because you can drink those on air without getting in trouble, and we can taste the selection, see if they're up to snuff.
What
You
a
got
great
it.
idea. In the meantime, it's time for real-time traffic at
Obviously was
8:54
not a
from
good
the
idea.
Beacon Plumbing Traffic. We're just out of time, Kelly.
Sully doesn't think it's a good idea.
Sober up here. Go ahead, Chris. You're on.
He's so upset about
I'm just
this
looking at the
conversation.
camera and like, really?